welcome to Horror Review Sunday. Let's talk about a classic Giallo by Sergio Martino called Torso. Got the Arrow Blu-ray here, and it's got like 3 or 4 versions on it, and I chose to watch the Italian with English subtitles, of course. Original like theatrical cut that was like 94 minutes. There's like 4 versions on here. I shit you not. Like, I'm not gonna go through it, but yeah, there's like English version with this, English version with that, and then Italian version this, Italian like I don't know which one to choose, but fuck it, I'm gonna go with the Italian version because I'm badass. I don't know. I just chose Italian because why not? So I'm not even sure what the differences are, but it acted like there was. It was like this version's 94 minutes. I'm like, well, how long is the English version? Is it 92 minutes? Like, what's being cut from each version? I don't know. But let's talk about the version I watched. So this movie is about these college girls, and a couple of them get killed. So then these 3 other college girls, or I guess 4, they decide we're gonna hide out for a while. So they go to this house on top of a hill to have a little vacation and just hide until the killer gets caught. But unfortunately for them, the killer knows exactly where they are and comes to kill them one by one. So my positives for this movie is, first up, you can't go wrong with lots of nudity. This movie has boobs, butts throughout the whole movie. It is just filled with tits and ass. So if you're looking for that, you're going to get it here. This probably has some of the most nudity I've seen in the movie. Maybe the New York Ripper would beat this, I think, but still, like, there's a lot. So, and they're gorgeous as hell. All these women are beautiful. I love me some Italian ladies. These ladies are pretty attractive. So, and I like that this mystery has a lot of red herrings. There's like 5 or 6, so it keeps you guessing as to who the killer is. And this movie, for the time, is pretty gruesome. I mean, you see people being like sawed, and we see like a quick shot like the limb being pulled off, and people getting like eye gouged at one moment. Like, it's kind of gruesome for the early 70s. This came out in like 73, so it's kind of violent. It's tame by today's standards, but for the time it was kind of graphic. I like the music too. It's catchy, and it's kind of got like this peaceful mood to it, and it's like a nice like juxtaposition to like the story and the darkness of it and just how evil what's going on is. But you got like this nice beautiful music playing over it, and the beautiful locations that are used I really like, and just Italy looks like a nice place to go to. There's a lot of beautiful locations. It's very well shot. There's a lot of good cinematography here, so it's a good looking movie. It's got a high body count, and the third act, I must say, was pretty suspenseful. There was a woman trying to like avoid being seen by the killer. She's all alone in the house, and just the way that whole scene plays out, like they really like build up the tension there, and I just really liked that whole section of the movie. Some people might think that's dragging a bit, but I really liked the suspense there and the tension. My only couple of gripes with the movie is that I felt the pacing was kind of slow, especially like in the middle, and I feel like maybe it's because I didn't really feel like I know these characters. I don't feel like I know these characters all that well. They're just college students, and like we don't really spend enough time with these girls that go to the house. So I really don't know them. I know 2 of them are like bisexual, and the other one is she's got a daddy that's going to Paris. I just know very little about them. They don't really have a whole lot of personality. So I just was kind of bored by them. But like the dialogue was meh, it's average dialogue from the characters, and just these girls should have been better written, like just more entertaining. There should have been some fun characters in here or something. It could use more gore too. Like every movie could use more gore, and this one definitely could have used more, especially towards the end when you get the saw being used from the poster that you see. And so that could have been more bloody. So final thoughts, if you're looking for a good mystery giallo with a high body count and a good mystery and lots of boobs, you're gonna get it here. I think it's a very beautiful, well shot movie with some good music, some good suspense in the third act. It just drags a little bit, and it could use better characters and dialogue. So when it comes to Torso, if you're a fan of the genre, if you're a fan of giallos and Italian cinema, definitely add this one to your collection. Go out and buy it. All right, time for some spoilers. So in the opening, we got a threesome. It starts with a threesome, and we see like a camera going off taking pictures. So somebody's watching, somebody's trying to like catch this person in the act, and we find out later on that the two girls in the bed, they planted that camera there, and they're taking pictures of the person they're banging to blackmail that person, and that's the person who ends up trying to kill them all. I love that the bodies are found by a guy who's telling the police, like, yeah, I was constipated, I was just looking for a place to shit, and then I found these dead bodies, and I called you. Like, that was the reason that they were found. This guy needed to take a shit, and he was constipated. And so in Italy, the cars and the people share the road. Like, there's people, pedestrians just walking about. There's no lines on the road. It's just like this circle, like this big like area, and cars are just going wherever. Like cars and people just walking together on the street. Like, you don't see that in America. And another thing you don't see in America, at least not any American college I ever went to or seen in American films, but apparently like in Italy, there's just these colleges that have like these orgy parties. Like, what college is this? I want to go to this college. They have like this camp for these college kids to go and like smoke weed and fuck and dance naked in front of each other. Just like, I don't even know where they are exactly. It's not like a building or anything. They're like outside or like under a bridge or some shit. I don't know where they are. I forget. It's been a few days since I watched it, but fuck. Like, just, I would love to go to this college. Like, really? That's all you get to go and have orgies and like, that was not college when I went. So that was just interesting to see. So man, I missed out. So this girl who's at like the orgy, she is letting these two guys fondle her breasts and like make out with her. One of them tries to grab her vagina, and then she gets real mad, and she's like, I'll take off my clothes if you take off yours. So he's like, okay, I'll do it. And he goes to take off his shirt, and then she puts a cigarette out on him. It's like, that's uncalled for. Like, you're telling him that you're going to have sex with him, and you're letting him like touch your breasts, and you're letting him make out with you. It's like, I didn't see him do anything wrong. So it's like, you're being a bitch in that moment. There was nothing he did that was like rapey. Like, she's letting them do all that shit, and then she like burns him for doing it. It's like, what? It's like, you led him on. You were like, yeah, you can do it, and then just take off your clothes, and I'll let you see me naked, and then you burn him. So I was like, you're a bitch. And then she gets killed by being drowned in the mud puddle outside. And I like the way that whole scene looks. It's like nighttime, it's foggy, and you see like a shot of the killer far away in the woods. That was a pretty cool shot. And the killer in this movie wears like a ski mask. So not a very creative or cool looking mask, but it's whatever. So, and of course he's got the black leather gloves, which is like a requirement in Giallo films. For some reason, the killer left his scarf behind that he used to like strangle her at first. I'm not sure how he would be so dumb to do that, forget that he had a scarf that he left there, but that this needs to happen for the story to work, because now the cops are out looking for anybody who is wearing a scarf of that description. And I love how they're trying to figure out throughout the whole movie, like, was it a black on red scarf, or was it a red on black scarf? Like, what was the pattern? It's like, it looks the same to me, whether it's red on black or black on red. It's just a silly part of the plot, trying to figure out what color was on top of what. And so the scarf vendor dude who's selling the scarves knows who the killer is, blackmails him just like the girls, and gets killed for it. He's like, give me a bunch of money and I won't tell the detective who bought that scarf, and I know it was you. So he goes to meet him somewhere. He gets money. I guess that was just dropped off somewhere. He picks up the money. He's walking away. The killer pops up, runs his ass down, and we see his head get crushed up against the wall. And it's a dummy head that clearly like explodes open. Like, we see the head crush. And then it cuts to a shot of the actual actor with his head still intact. It's not squeezed and squished or anything. So that was just a weird cut. Like, you didn't need to go back to that shot of the actual actor. It would have been more effective if you just went to a shot of like the dummy again on the ground with the head split open and crushed and shit. So it's just a bad decision to go back to the actor after we just saw his head clearly demolished. All the guys in this movie are creepy. Like, there's this one obsessed guy character who's constantly after this one girl. He just won't let her go. And then wherever they go, they just always are the center of attention. Like every guy in downtown is just looking at them. Everybody. And then we get some lesbian sex. So you're going to get that in this movie too. And this voyeur, this peeping Tom, is watching. And then the killer catches him and he chases him off and kills him. And he can't say nothing about it. He can't talk at all. He's a mute. How convenient. And he doesn't put up a fight at all. When he gets killed, he just sits there and he takes it like Vicky in Friday the 13th Part 2. He's like, like, like it's so slow. It's so, like, it's just as slow as the knife of, Jason when he's like when he's killing Vicky. It's the same thing here. It's just as slow. Like he's walking towards him with the knife, like so slow. He had all this time to like throw a punch. He's just like, no, and then gets killed. So I was like, yeah, you deserve it because you did nothing to prevent it. Then the girl, she's playing piano and she's playing the piano score of the film. So it's like she knows how to play the song that's being played over the movie. It kind of reminds me of like The Beyond. You got that score that's constantly being played, and then the one blind girl's playing that score on the piano. So maybe Lucio Fulci was inspired by this movie and decided to do that too. But then the Stefano guy, he's standing up dead at the door. They open up the door and his dead body falls forward. And then hard cut, next morning, all three girls are dead. It's just like the dead body falls over, they scream, hard cut, next morning, they're all dead. And then the fourth girl is upstairs, she goes downstairs and sees all the dead bodies, and then the killer keeps like locking her in the house. He doesn't know she's in there. He just keeps like going in and out, just hacking up the bodies one at a time, just sawing the limbs off one by one, putting them in the bag, and then taking them somewhere to bury it, and then locks the door each time so this girl can't escape. This house is impossible to leave. Like, she couldn't find a window. Like, she just couldn't at all, really. And then there's like this Cinderella situation where she loses her shoe on the step, and then he finds the shoe and is like, there must be somebody else here. But the reason he finds out, how he finds out that there's a fourth person up there, he walks downtown and overhears this drunk guy going like, he's talking to his buddies. He's like, man, you should have seen it. These four babes, they went up to the house in the hill. It's like there was four of them, 4 sets of breasts. He's going on about their tits and everything because they're great. So the killer hears this. He's like, wait, 4? I only killed 3. So he goes back up and finds her. She's still, like, this is like over a day later, and she's still stuck up there. She can't escape. Like, how hard is it to leave this house? And I did find it kind of odd how there's like no blood puddles, like no blood spills anywhere. After he's like hacking all the limbs, he's not like laying like a plastic tarp down or anything. Like, he's hacking them on the wood floors, and every time we see him like dragging the sack across the floor, you see like no blood stains anywhere. It's like if you're hacking bodies limb from limb, there would be blood everywhere. We get this silly scene where this guy like pulls over, and then this truck just smashes into him as if he couldn't see him there. He's like, yeah, you're on the side of the road. I couldn't see you. It's like, how could you not see him? It's the middle of the day. He's driving a yellow buggy car, like whatever kind of car it is. Like, it's easy to spot. And this truck just smashes right into the back of it. It's not like it was like a windy road and he was going around a corner. It was a straight road, so there's no excuse for that. To be like, oh, I couldn't see you. It's like, no, you just weren't fucking looking. So then the killer's revealed to be the professor, and the girls in the opening were having sex with him, and they were blackmailing him, I guess for good grades or something. I'm not sure what their motivation was, if it was money or, give us better grades, professor, something like that. But, it sets him off because he has a bad history with women, I guess. And we get this flashback where his brother or friend, I forget which, I think it's his brother, but a girl got his brother killed. He falls off a cliff and dies, so he's always like hated women because of it, and he's always had like a tough time having relationships with women. So he just hates women now because of that shit, and he's killing everybody, the people that blackmailed him and everybody who saw him kill or follow those people. So he gives all his reasons for why this person had to die because of this person had to die because they saw this, blah blah blah. And So then the doc gets there to save the day at the last second. They go in like this barn, and then they go out the other side of the barn, and there's this huge cliff, and the killer gets pushed off the cliff just like his brother from many years back. So it's like poetic, like, oh, you get to die just like your friend or brother or whatever. But it's like, this is a bad location for a barn. Like, it had like the horse stables, like it was a barn for horses and shit. Like, they can go out that door and then just go off the cliff. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on Torso. What did you think about this Italian Giallo? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like what you've seen here, you can hit this like button and become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And remember, it's just an opinion. You don't need to get butthurt about it.